post-match press conference where he was having a go at journalists about style of play and rebuilding, and then I sort of paint a picture around the update, what I'm hearing regarding his future. So let's start with that. Nabi, sort of a back and forth with journalists after drawing against Polokwane City and effectively, finishing outside the top 8. And he believes that he's here to win trophies and to play expansive football, not hold back and park the bus.
You prefer this? You are a fan for Kaizer Chiefs. Repent me, please. No, repent me. Don't smile. No. And please, if you wrote the journalist, don't push the fans in confusion. Because if you are... No, I'm sorry. Because you are professional, you love football. You love beautiful football. Explain to fans, Nabi come here for one model game, offensive, because we are big. Kaizer Chiefs is big. It's not possible Nabi push the train or the bus in 18 and play counter-attack. Explain then. Why you are happy if the fans another team is in top 8 better like me. Stellenbosch is not better like us. Is number 3 or not? Why I beat 3 times Stellenbosch? Why I beat Sundowns? Why I beat Orlando Pirates? Why? With the offense, with the football. Because he's playing football, this team. But put me one train, or I don't know, the flag from Trump, and you want to score. And you want this football.
I heard Donald Trump.
Look, I get...
For those that have been wondering... Oh, sorry, there we go. I heard Donald Trump there, but for those that have been wondering why the coach needs a translator, this is why.
Yeah.
English is not his first language. It doesn't come easy. There are times when he attempts, and he did there, but I didn't hear half of that, Mazola.
Yeah, look, I mean, it stems from ongoing debates with how the media has been reporting about Nazarudeen Nabi. When he was appointed, obviously articles came out, radio stations, conversations about this is the
By the way, this is the first place you heard the name Nabi.
100%. So it's been on that theme that this guy is coming to save Kaizer Chiefs. And, judging on the log results where they finished outside the top 8 and only, they broke the curse, so to speak, and won a trophy after 10 years. But the general consensus, perhaps within Naturena corridors and maybe a faction of some fans, is that the coach did not deliver. And the coach believes it's the media are to blame because they gave this impression that Kaizer Chiefs have the quality players that are there and the coach can come in and hit the ground running and win trophies, finish in the top 3, challenge Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates for titles.
He makes a good point, though, to say he beat Stellenbosch Chiefs, Pirates and Sundowns.
Beat Stellies 3 times.
He's beat Stellies 3 times this season, and those are the top 3 teams in the league. So he's saying, don't look at me and say I'm not a good coach or I'm not playing great football. I beat the best teams.
Yeah.
So, basically what I'm getting from that is give me more of what I want so I can play the football I want and then judge me.
Yeah, and with regards to the coach's future, of course, ever since article came out in the Sunday Times regarding the coach's future, there's been questions and speculation all around about whether the coach is coming or going. And at the moment, as it stands, there's a split, if you like, because I know the Kaizer Chiefs processes, how they've had the coaches in the past. They've had Stuart Baxter, Arthur Zwane, Kevin Johnson, Gavin Hunt. They are a team that believes in giving a coach enough time. They're a team that believes in, if a coach has got a 2-year contract, they will try as best as possible to have him see out the remainder of his contract. They will try support him in the transfer window if they have to. And the fact that there's an article that came out on the eve or the day after.
I mean, since Stuart Baxter, who's finished their contract?
No, but I'm saying, so
Steve
my point
Kompela did his 3 years, but everybody after that has left unceremoniously.
So this leads to my point about the Kaizer Chiefs processes. They take time. Obviously there's the sporting director, there's football manager, there's the board, there's Chinchaguluva.
The chairman,
the chairman is still there, and his word is final. If the chairman feels the coach deserves another season, the backing, whether the sporting director doesn't want him there or whether some of the board members don't want him there, if the chairman believes he should be given more time, he will be given more time. So my point is, not to labor this any further, is that there's not a clear final decision on whether Nabi should go or stay.
So it's a split decision.
I would think at this point in time it's a split decision, because, as I say, I know Kaizer Chief processes. When they've made a decision about a head coach or a player, they don't waste time. It's either you sign the termination or you sign the contract and you are part of the Naturena village going forward, or you leave. They don't dilly-dally or whatever. The only time they dilly-dally is if there is still internal discussion.
I guess it's an important thing then to note that Nabi says, I'm speaking to the chairman.
100%. And Nabi, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, Nabi has not been told that he should pack his bags and leave.
Well, clearly, I mean, he was planning the future.
100%. He's already identified players that he wants, and he's trying to go for them. And the quality that he's looking for are in the mold of Thabo Qele and Glody Lilepo as well.
I know he's looking for a goalkeeper, he's looking for a striker.
100%.
Although he didn't say it, but that he's said before, as he's spoken, he's alluded to it. BBK wrote an article, of course, which I think is standing as the pin poster for all things Kaizer Chiefs at the moment, to see whether that article is going to come out true or not at the end. At the moment, I think it's still just standing, on the fence, really.
Yeah.
We really don't know at this moment, but
absolutely,
we do know there's sections of Kaizer Chiefs that want him out, and there's sections that are saying perhaps, let's give him more time.
100%. And there will be more conversations around that. I think we've labored the Nabi point enough. You played that clip where he's talking about rebuilding, squad overhaul. Let's now move to Andre Arendse and Supersport United, a club that's in trouble at the moment. They've got that 45-minute match that's upcoming this Thursday. You said, according to the statement
Thursday,
from
12
the league.
o'clock, yeah.
Thursday, 12 o'clock, they'll play from the second half, and obviously Tatana will come in later and explain the dynamics there of a game that played 2 months later, when the rule book, essentially, strictly speaking, that game should have played within a 48-hour cycle, so to speak. So here's Andre Arendse after losing to what I thought was a very good Richards Bay team that's now finished in the top 8. Who would have thought? If you look back when Brendan Truter was fired.
Shout out, Jomza. What's going on, Chair?
Who would have thought when they fired Brendan Truter after 8 matches that they would finish in the top 8? Here's Coach Andre Arendse.
There's a couple of elements that we've got to think about going to that game. We go into only one half. We go into it with already 1 point, which is more or less what we need, for example. So we have to go into the game with that mindset, but at the same time, we cannot afford to be on the back foot. So we cannot afford to close up shop, because then we are going to invite unnecessary pressure. And when you do that, you are prone to mistakes. We cannot afford one single mistake in that half of football that's to come.
They can't afford one single mistake. Diogo Peral, interim coach of Cape Town City, says this game is a mistake. He says this game is an absolute joke. I'm told that Cape Town City, not 100% sure whether they've gone ahead and submitted the application to interdict this match from going ahead. They believe it should have never gone. They are wanting answers as to which part of the rule book was used to determine that this game 2 months later, the second half, should be played, with some of the players no longer there, some of the players probably injured, some suspended.
I think in the statement it says each team will be allowed 5 substitutions. I think that's to cater for things such as that.
Yeah, 100%. So here's Diogo Peral explaining how it boggles the mind that 2 months later this game has only been played now.
Disappointing that happens. I mean, the reason these games are all played at the same time is so that teams don't get to choose the result they want. I mean, the very reason those games are to avoid this, and then on top of it, it's the two teams that are fighting relegation that get to play against each other. So it's a bit of a joke actually, but it is what it is. And if we start with all the theories and all the negatives, it's not going to help us in the next game. The only thing we can do is what's in our hands. And what's in our hands is to forget about all that and to go and prepare as well as we can, like we've been preparing for the last few games we've played. Put it all out there for 90 minutes and the rest takes care of itself.
And there's another Cape Town team, the Urban Warriors, Cape Town Spurs, still fighting that they shouldn't be relegated because they still insist that Sazima Gawana was an ineligible player. And therefore Durban City should be docked points and not be crowned champions. Now this case was meant to sit today. I haven't yet got an update. I'll check before we go on Soccer Zone with regards to the SAFA arbitration. They were meant to hear it this afternoon or this evening and make a final decision, because remember the 27th is tomorrow and the playoffs are meant to kick off tomorrow. So they're trying to make a decision before, because once you start with the playoffs, then it's a hot mess. to try and reverse everything. Just as it would be a hot mess if Sean Mkhize wins her court case.
So she's going to court.
She's going to court
the PSL
to say to court that in fact the PSL never charged Royal AM with misconduct. I could be wrong. I've never seen a charge sheet. I've never seen Royal AM being called into the dispute resolution chamber to explain. All that was done was a communication with the curator and the club to say, can you honor fixtures, can you not? And in this court application, Mam Kize is arguing that she would have had the money to be able to honor fixtures.
Yeah, but as far as I know, and like I said, maybe Timmy, we must get our legal brains on this one here, because as far as I know the matter to be, the league was not talking to Royal AM, because Royal AM then became the curator.
Exactly.
So the conversation between the PSL would happen with the curator, and what the PSL had sent a letter saying was, hey, listen, we want assurance from you, because you're the person who's in charge of the club right now. We want assurance that these games can be played. And assurance was not given from the curator point of view. Royal AM were willing to send, from a Mamkiza point of view, were willing to send us an assurance, to say, here's assurance. And I think they did. Here's the assurance. But it doesn't matter if it doesn't come from
the curator,
the person
running the club. Absolutely. So there's one school of thought that will
say... We could be wrong here. I'll get the legal brains
100%.
to bring it on. But I'm pretty sure that's the conversation as we remember it.
Yeah, there is a school of thought that's saying Royal AM were not guilty of any misconduct, quote unquote. But in the league's eyes, the fact that when that story broke on the 11th of January, that they would not be able to go to East London, or I think it was Gqeberha, where they were supposed to go play Chippa United. Yeah. That then meant they could not honor fixtures. So perhaps the league, out of courtesy, not wanting to charge them, but suspend the fixtures and find a solution. Maybe sell the club, and once you've sold the club, we can then sort of find dates for you to play your matches. So obviously this is in hindsight. After being expelled, she now feels that we could have played our games up until the end and sorted this out in an amicable way instead of being expelled by the BOG. And also arguing that the very exco that made the recommendation to expel Royal AM was then part of the BOG to decide their fate. So she's arguing conflict of interest here in those applications. But we'll see how it pans out. The first one, which was to interdict the BOG, was kicked out by the judge and dismissed with costs. Yeah. So we'll see if this goes in this direction.
And I know that at some point we're going to have Shonim Kiza, the president of the club here. She's at the moment, of course, embargoed. But I would have thought, from what I'd seen, what I'd heard, what I'd listened to, the PSL had extended themselves and had been very kind, graceful and generous in how they dealt with the club and in person. You remember how long it took.
Charge sheets.
Charge sheets and things like that. But perhaps that was shooting themselves in the foot here. We broke every Royal AM story between Mazola and I here on the Mighty Metro FM. And I can tell you now that throughout that process, I thought that the league had been graceful and kind in how they dealt with this matter. We could be wrong, so perhaps at some point we'll hear the other side.
100%. There's still a lot more. Sorry, Tatana. Pyramids. Let's now focus on the CAF Champions League. We believe Sundowns are leaving Wednesday night. I'm also leaving Wednesday night for Cairo to cover that Champions League second leg final at the 30 June Stadium. But let's go to Pyramids coach, who says the reason why they have a midweek game ahead of a big final, carrying the hopes of Egypt, is because they have no support. And he's talking about the Egyptian FA, because if you look in the past, when it's been Al Ahly or Zamalek, when they're playing such big games,
they get all the support.
Say, coach.
I will repeat, we are alone. We are alone in all this season. We are alone without any support. But I think that we are stronger in this situation. We will continue like this. And thank you for the question. Please, all the people from the Egypt, Samalkawi, Ahlawi, please coming on our stadium, because for 7 days we're playing for the Egypt. We're playing for the Egyptian football. We deserve, my guys deserve support. And I thought that stadium will be full. We have maybe 50, 100 supporters. This is maximum on our matches, but please coming support these guys because they deserve it.
Yeah, let's see.
No fans, if you don't know. You missed the games against Pyramids. when they played Pirates. They don't have fans. A lot of Egyptians, we were there, had conversations with them. They feel like this is a man-made club. This is a created club. Because remember, it's Saudi money. It's Middle East money that funds the pyramids. So they feel like you can't buy success, and pyramids are trying to buy success. So fans, not the greatest on this one. Mazola still coming back.